Hello everyone, Xeno What If here. Bring in the finale of What If Jaune arc was a Mandalorian. Link in the description of the fanfiction of this What If. Listen here YouTube. I do not own anything and this is not a scam. Chapter 37. The Mandalorians left the council as they head for the landing pad. Jaune and the commandos wait patiently for their new guest. After a few hours a ship arrived. Those that exit was Bo-Katan and her night owls. Bo-Katan, greetings Lord Arcadius. I have news you might like. Jaune, and that is. Bo-Katan, the bandit tribe that costed your daughter her family are all dead. Jaune, I take no pleasure in their deaths but I will take satisfaction that they will never live to prey on another innocent soul ever again. You have my thanks lady cries. Bo-Katan, it was my honor. And we have a guest. You might know her. Jaune, who is it? He looked to a young woman who bears a remarkably look to RWBY. Jaune, RWBY, Summer, that's my little girl's name. Do you know her? Jaune, we're close friends. Summer, can you talk to me about her if you got the time? Jaune, I'll do you better, she's here right now. Summer's eyes widen as Jaune grabbed her hand and dragged her to the hotel the teams were currently staying at. Meanwhile Hotel, Yang was having an arm wrestling contest with Nora. RWBY, go Yang. Pira, good luck Nora. Nora, pish posh I don't need luck to wreck this cow. Yang, what did you just say? Grr. Then the door opens and the group looks at it. If the girls were both frozen at the sight. Jaune was with one Summer Rose. RWBY, mom. As she tears up, Yang reflexively slammed Nora's arm so hard she flipped on her butt. Both RWBY and Yang slowly walked to Summer while she had a face filled with regret going into hiding and not making contact with them. RWBY and Yang, Mom. Summer, yes babies it's me. As she begins to cry. Jaune steps away and allowed the family their time. He then signaled the rest to leave the room. Blake, what was that? Jaune, RWBY and Yang thought their mom was dead but in reality she was in hiding. Ren, hiding from what? Jaune, someone hunting her for her skills. Now they're getting reunited. He then walked to Weiss. Jaune, Weiss I'm sorry, but we have been given a warrant for your father's arrest. Weiss was shocked to hear the news. Weiss, were you able to get evidence on what he does at the mines? Jaune, yes and I wish for you to take over, just make sure you do good for everyone. Weiss, I swear on our family name I will. Jaune then leaves with the commandos to meet Ironwood and Winter for Jacques' arrest. Later, they knocked at the door of the mansion. Klein, good day, who is it? Ironwood, I'm here on business Mr. Klein. Klein, oh General Ironwood sir. Here let me. He saw Weiss and Winter. Klein, oh dear, Mistress Winter, Weiss, I'm surprised to see you both here. Winter, it is nice to see you again Klein but I bring bad news. Klein, oh dear. Ironwood then presented a warrant of Jacques' arrest. Whitley, Klein, who is it? He saw his sisters with unknown soldiers. Whitley then bowed at the general and Jaune. Whitley, greetings sisters, are you here for father? Winter, yes but it's not good. Whitley, I see. He then closes his eyes. He then moved out of the way and let them pass. Weiss, Whitley I'm sorry for leaving you behind with him, me and Winter will make it up to you. Whitley was stunned by the offer. As they moved up they were met by a drunken mess known as Willow Schnee. Willow, who are you? Jaune, someone who's gonna deal with your husband. Willow, I hope you, at least give him a thing, or two. She stumbles forward and as he catches her. Jaune, she's out. He then puts her on a nearby couch. Jaune, Weiss look after your mother. He hands her a vial. Jaune, it's detox, it will help her of her alcoholism. Take better care of your family. Later, Lisa. Breaking news upon further revelations the Schnee Dust Company CEO Jacques Schnee is being arrested for crimes against mankind as we review footage of the poor living conditions his workers have been enduring. The scene shows Jacques being put in a military transport by Mandalorians. Jacques, mark my words you all will pay for this. Boba, quiet, we can bring you in warm or cold your choice. Jacques, I could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that meddling kid. Cuts back to Lisa. Lisa, in other news it seems Vale has been undergoing a massive operation of unknown intent as the Vale armed forces have amassed for an unknown battle. A video shows a massive army of 21,000. As the video shows King Garin delivering a speech. Garin, never again shall the land of our people fall into enemy hands. For Vale, for all of mankind. Later, Mandalorian staging point. Jaune is now broadcasting across Remnant. Jaune, I look now upon my ancestors' world. 4,000 years after its birth, and I see a world on the edge of annihilation. We have not risen, we have only endured. We have not thrived, we have merely survived. We have let this world burn. But hope is not lost, salvation dawns by an ancient promise drawn forth since the Dark Age. We have blended the ultimate vision of our brightest possibilities and tempered it with the discipline and patience that any man, woman or child can achieve. We have bred new warriors for this darkest of ages. Forged beyond the capabilities of their brethren. Armed and equipped with weapons befitting of their stature as the heirs of our ancestors' legacies. To the warriors bloodied and besieged in this dark world we bring reinforcement. To those who have been lost in valiant duty or driven to destruction we offer justice. To the enemies of our forefathers' kingdom, we bring death. With these words, I, Jaune Arcadius, Mandalore the Redeemer, son of Mandalore, declare the Indamitis Crusade. Killers, traitors, grim lay heed to the coming of my armies and the ruin we promise your miserable kind. This world is ours. Transmission ended. Hotel in Atlas. Young. Damn, never thought Buckethead would be that scary. Blake. Young, remember they are a warrior race. They are not here to make friends. Summer. She's right, I came back to my family but first I must uphold my tribe's oath to them. RWBY. What's that, Mom? Summer. To help them end the grim once and for all. Penny. Can such a thing be possible? Maria. With them those Mandalorians, anything is possible. Kiro. Man, if the tribe encountered them early, me and Ray would have been dead. Summer. No, I believe they would have taken you both in as foundlings. Kiro. Whoa. Pyrrha. The tone he gave was so scary though. Nora. Fearless leader is awesome. He's like king of the castle. Ren. Technically he is a king since the reveal of Mandalore is a fifth fully functioning kingdom. Meanwhile in the Grimlands. Jaune. And the ruin we promised to your miserable kind. This world is ours. Then the TV turned off. Salem looked at her hand and it didn't heal. Tyrion. My goddess, what shall we do? That heretic just threatens you. Watts. And they amassed multiple armies overnight. This is unheard of in Remnant's history. Emerald was planning on running away and so does Mercury. Hazel. This isn't looking too good. Salem. We will meet them head on. I will gather all of the grim on the whole world. This will end one way or another. My time has finally come. I will finally be free. Ozma. I am sorry for everything. Chapter 38. RWBY. I can't believe Mom is coming with us on our new mission. Young. Don't you think it's too early to go back into a fight? Summer. I have a duty, Young. I'm indebted to Jaune's people for hiding me from those monsters hunting me. RWBY then charged, hug Jaune. RWBY. Thank you. Sob. Jaune. Don't thank me, I haven't done anything. It's my ancestors who made that promise. Maria. Well, ain't that sweet. Kiro was still geeking out about the famous Grim Reaper. They approached the Millennium Falcon. Han. So where up to now? Jaune. To the outer regions of the Grim Lands. Han. So hot zone, anything I need to know. Jaune. There will be a large army there waiting for us to start the siege, you can drop us off and get out if you want. Han. Nah, I'll just stay with you guys since I'm still bored of peaceful life. Jaune. Always the adventurer. Weiss. So we're going to war. Boba. Yes, so that if the day ever comes, and I hope it doesn't, we next generation will be ready. Jaune. This will be the last war Remnant will ever have. Young. Why are you so confident? Jaune. Because to hope for a better future is everyone's dream. Anyone who dreams the opposite will answer to me. Ren. Pretty ominous. Nora. Ooh, will we see more Mandalorians? Boba. A lot more, come on, let's go. Pyrrha. Come on guys. They board the Falcon. Chewie. Hey, if you boop me again while I'm eating, I'm gonna throw these hands. Nora nods. Han. Alright, thrusters on full. Then they speedily made their way to the front lines. A few hours later near the Grim Lands. Han. Approaching staging area. The beacon crew looked out the cockpit's windows. They saw massive armies and a few gigantic ships. 3 capital ships. 10 dreadnoughts. Neo Crusader Captain. Unidentified vessel, state your identity and purpose. John. Give me the comm. Han handed him the headset. John. This is John Arcadius, Mandalore the Redeemer. I am looking for commanders on the ground. NCC, understood, I will send you an escort, my lord. Then they landed and was greeted by Mandalorians in a orderly fashion. John then made his way to the command center. He was met by none other than his grandfather. John. Grandfather. But Vale, why are you here? Garen. The Vale armed forces need their leader, and besides, after this you will be king. John. Don't remind me, that's a lot for a teen to do. Garen. You're no ordinary teen. John just sighs, he will have to be more responsible now. Paz walked towards them. Paz. Mandalore. John. Commander Vizsla. Are the rest here? Paz. Yes, they're on their way, they're organizing the troops. Maria. It's so unreal to meet this many Mandalorians. This looks like the Great War. Then someone familiar approached the teams. Armorer. Mandalore, if you may, relinquish the sword and spear. John. For what purpose? Armorer. To repurpose them. Beskar is not meant for weapons, only armor. Its mere existence puts Mandalorians at risk. John then hands the 2 weapons over. Armorer. Where did you come upon these? Garen. I gave it to him. Armorer. The question still stands. Garen. It was between me and Pre Vizsla. Pause. Even until now he brings shame to my house. At the very least he's dead. Garen nods to him in confirmation. Garen. Pre was in possession of the Beskar weapons and I didn't have the time as I was training the new Mandalore. Armorer. Acceptable, what should I forge them into? John. Please forge them into armor. Armorer. For whom? John. A foundling, a specific foundling. Pyrrha. Your daughter. John. I spoke to her before coming here. Flashback. Argus. Knocking. Terra. Coming. She opens the door and was surprised to see an armored man. Terra. Who are you? John. Has it been so long you no longer recognize me? Terra gasped at the voice. Saffron then walks in. Saffron. Honey, who is it? She then rushed and blocks Terra from the stranger. Saffron. Who are you? And what do you want? John. I know I pranked you so hard the last time, but you're taking it a bit too much. Saffron then got a tick mark and punches his chest only for it to hurt like hell. Saffron. AAARGG. You idiot. You disappear and come back now and with a child. Then a familiar blonde bunny peeked behind from the corner. Lilith. Papa. She runs to him and he picks her up into a hug. John. How my little bunny doing? Lilith. Amazing. Aunt Safi and Terra has been teaching me a lot. John. Oh really? Lilith. Yeah. And they've been showing me pictures of you when you were a kid. He then glares at the 2. Terra chuckled nervously as Saffron just sticks her tongue out. A few minutes later, they were at the living room. John. So this is Adrian. Adrian. Agoo. Terra was cuddling him. Saffron. Yeah, and thanks for donating. John. Don't mention it, ever. Especially to Mom or she'll kill me and then you. Saffron. Hey. John. By the way, where's Velvet? Saffron. She returned to Beacon once a good part of it was repaired and taking her classes. She was about to speak but. Lilith. Papa, you told me when I found out what I wanted. You told me you would help my dream come true. John. Yes I did. And what is it, my little angel? Lilith. I wanna be like you. John was surprised but he knew this might happen. John. As you wish, when you're old enough I will begin your training. Saffron. John. Are you crazy? John. I won't make the same mistake Dad did for me. I will support my child's dream without hesitation. And for those who chose to harm her, I will show no mercy. Saffron got chills. Terra nods. Flashback ends. Armorer. And what is this new foundling's name? John. Lilith Arcadius. The teams all gasped. Ren. John, are you sure? Pyrrha. Do you think she can? Shni. It's too dangerous. Young. John, I'm not trying to lecture you in being a good parent. But is it safe? Blake. John. I will be training her and I will not push her too hard, only at what she can manage. She's still young but she'll be better than I am. Armorer, I will assist you on that endeavor my lord. Then they all went to the forge to accompany Jaune. The armorer began melting down the sword and spear. RWBY just awes at the process. RWBY, wow, that's amazing, I want to learn. Jaune, you'll have to join the creed then if you want, but I warn you. You have to follow our laws strictly. Break one and you shall leave as an apostate. Nora, opposed to what now? Ren, an apostate, one who has abandoned their principles and beliefs. RWBY, that will never happen. Armorer sad face, I believe I have found my successor. After a few minutes, she wrapped the new armor in a package and hands it to Jaune. He then hides it away to bring it back home later. Back at command, Jaune, we will meet the Grim head on as the reserve will watch our flanks, we will slowly advance and push through the hordes systematically wiping them out. Pause, and the Nevermores, Mostras. Jaune, the dreadnoughts and capital ships will deal with them and provide indirect support. Commanders, you direct that support upon your discretion. Bo-Katan, understood. And where are you in all this? Jaune, in the front as vanguard, I will direct the hordes to me as you think them out. Jaster, that's risky. Jaune, better for my people to continue living. A Mandalore can be chosen but my lives lost cannot be replaced. Jango, loyalty and solidarity. Jaune, this is the way. I will not die. I have someone I need to go back to. Boba, don't you mean someone's? Jaune glares at Boba who just smirks. Jaster, someone's. Jango, oh you have found a girl. Boba, two actually. The Mandalorians just looked at Mandalore who was beet red. Jaune, I'll get you back for this. Boba, I like to see you try. Jaune smiles and picks up a scroll. Jaune, hello, Fennec. Boba, oh you mother. The Mandalorians all just laughed. Then a horn was blown. Jaune, so it has begun. All of them puts on their helmets and went to the field. Teams RWBY PNR joins the army. They went to the front to help Jaune in that vanguard. A huge wave of Beowulfs was rushing to them. Jaune, vanguard, formation. The warriors steps in front of the beacon teams. Then the Beowulfs crashes into the Mandalorian wall. Jaune, wipe them out. All of them. Chapter 39. The battle was raging. Hordes fell as a few Mandalorians who met an honorable end. Then someone was rushing, avoiding and dodging Mandalorian after Mandalorian. Mandalorian vanguard, my lord. Someone is coming for you. Jaune then activates the shield in his vambrace to block a strike from a wrist blade. Tyrion, ooh, you really are a persistent warrior. But you threatened my goddess, you will pay. Jaune then pushes him off with a concussion blast. Tyrion, shall we dance? Jaune ignites the dark saber. Jaune, it ends today, all of it. Tyrion, nobody knows that better than me. They both charge at each other, but Tyrion, after learning if Cinder's demise, chose to avoid getting hit, knowing that blade can cut through anything. Jaune, are you afraid of this? Tyrion, I'm not afraid, I'm just cautious. He, let's keep on dancing. Jaune, I will make your end swift. The two twirled and danced through the battlefield. Tyrion in all his wisdom chose to use his stinger to poison the king. But the moment it made contact it just bounced off the Beskar. Choosing to seize the opportunity, Jaune quickly drew a vibro dagger and cut off his tail. Tyrion, AAAAAAGGGHHH. Jaune then swung the dark saber with a speed unmatched and cut off the head of the scorpion and finally ended his killing spree. On the other side of the battlefield, Garin was leading Vale's armed forces through the flank. Hey, Garin looks to a tall muscly man. It was Hazel. Hazel, my mistress asked for me to kill you. Garin, you will die trying. But before the two began their melee, another familiar voice spoke out. I will handle this, old friend, this fight is my own. They both turned to look to a familiar silver-haired man. Ozpin, Hazel, RRRGGHHH Ozpin. Garin nods and continues to lead the assault. Ozpin, I failed you. Hazel, I have failed you. Hazel, I should have known about you lies. She should be alive if I did. Ozpin, and what you do now just makes her sacrifice needless. Hazel, lies. He then took out dust crystals and stabbed them in his arms. Ozpin took his cane and got into his stance. Ozpin, for what it's worth I am truly sorry. Hazel. Hazel, it's worth nothing. They both charged and Hazel swung hard. Ozpin then disappears and reappears behind Hazel. Ozpin, I wish I could have saved her too. He then swung his cane in and double axe handle as hard as it can as it broke Hazel's aura and knocks him out. Ozpin, it's a good thing I know your semblance, you wouldn't feel anything but your body still reacts by itself. Ozpin struck a nerve bundle along the points that manages the signals from the brain to the body. He falls down face first. Ozpin, I hope in time you can find it your heart to forgive and move on. Hazel. I really do. From the other side of the war, Atlas joined the battle as Ironwood improved the security of his tech, and unlike before he brought only men for this battle along with the Ace Ops. Inside a drop ship, Ironwood, remember your training and it will keep you alive. Atlas soldiers, sir. Yes sir. Ironwood, Ace Ops, you follow me as we form the vanguard. Ace Ops, sir. Ironwood, Winter, you will take a contingent and assist Mandalore. Winter, yes sir. The drop ships landed while the warships maintained their distance just in case the enemy has another trick for them. Landing zone. Then the battle was on. Ironwood led the Ace Ops and punched through the Sea of Grim, eventually making their way to regroup with the Vale armed forces. The King of Vale turned and saw them. Garin, what are you doing here? Ironwood, just lending a hand. I need to fix my mistakes. Penny is seen helping Winter fight off a whole horde as a duo. Then a giant Grim bursts from the ground and caused chaos on both armies. Garin, damn, hold the line. The Vale armed forces rally as Amber joins to protect them. Then they heard a loud sound and looked up. Han, alright, here's your stop. Chewie, go, go, go. They see the Millennium Falcon flipped and 3 people jumped off. It was Summer, Maria and John. The 2 maidens let loose their silver eyes. The Sphinx looked at them, also a large portion of the hordes. And a bright white light blinded everyone. Once the light died down, the armies all gawked at the Grim, now turned to stone statues. Then John threw his dark saber into the head of the Sphinx, then it crumbled to dust. John then grabbed the waists of the 2 and gently landed near the king and general. Summer, thanks for the lift. Maria, pretty frisky there. John, do you prefer I gave you a wedgie on the way down? Maria, oh poo. Amber, nice one. Then a Mandalorian royal guard approached. MRG, my lord, we have cleared a way to the castle. John, good, continue clearing the land, I will lead a force into the castle. Ozpin, I will accompany you, this must end now. Ironwood, yes, and I have a score to settle with Arthur Watts. Then a familiar voice joined in. RWBY, huh, you don't think you can go on your own? Yang, yeah, and without us. Penny, sorry friend John, I tried to stop them. John, alright, as you wish. But the witch is ours. As he nods to Ozpin. They made their way to Evernight Castle. Then they entered what's looked like a council table and found Watts eating with a gun in his hand and Cinder's lackeys behind him. Watts, so this is the would-be hero. You really did a number on our boss. She didn't even try to strategize this whole battle. She opted to stay in her chamber on her throne and basically told us to go F ourselves. John then ignites the dark saber. John, there's only 2 ways this ends. So I'm giving you 3 a choice. Watts, and what would that be? John, I could bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold, that's your choice. Emerald walks towards them and submit herself into their custody. Mercury, surprised they were even given a chance to surrender, and opted to do the same. Teams RWBY and PNR secured the prisoners until Watts drew his gun and aimed at Mandalore. Then a shot rang out in the room. They looked to see Ironwood, who is holding a smoking due process. Ironwood, consider us even, Watts. Watts' entire hand up to the elbow was blown off with his aura broken. He collapsed onto the floor. Ironwood then ordered the Ace Ops to drag him into custody. John and Ozpin made their way to Salem's throne room and saw her sitting patiently. Salem, so you're the legendary Mandalore. John, I am. He walks up to her and removes his helmet. Salem, I see. Now I know why this has come to an end. The next scene will be heavily using a game reference. This is old, unpopular but memorable. If you can figure out what game, I will add your names at the start of the last chapter. Salem, you do know what you are, do you? John, I have been many things, if you find me ignorant enlighten me. Salem, what's the point? It's better for this sad take to come to an end. John, I would expect better than meek capitulation from you. Salem, centuries of persecution has taught me well. This isn't a war Mandalore, we are merely passengers on the wheel of destiny, describing a perfect circle to this point. We've been brought here for a reason, I have seen the beginning and the end of our story, however and the tale is crude and ill-conceived. We must rewrite the ending you and I. John, face me Salem even you shouldn't die a coward's death. Salem, isn't it customary to grant the condemned a final request? John, I recall no such courtesy from you throughout all of history. Salem, indulge me Mandalore. A millennia hence, I am presented with a dilemma. Let's call it a two-sided coin. If the coin falls one way, if Ozpin collected the relics to summon the brother gods back, they will destroy Remnant. But as the world remains its chaotic and divided way, well you know what they will do. They have made sure of that. If the coin lands on the reverse, I killed all of the denizens of Remnant and remained forever alone. On a barren rock. Either way the game is rigged. Ozpin, we agree then the relics must not be brought together. But if that isn't enough. Salem chuckles as she continues her final debate. Salem, there's a third option, a monumental secret hidden in your very presence here. It's all laid out for you here. Ozpin, you said it yourself Salem, there are only two sides to your coin. Salem, apparently so, but suppose you threw the coin enough times. Suppose one day it lands on its edge. Ozpin, the third option. It's you, John. Only you can unite Remnant. And the brothers will never return. Salem, he's been the one I've been waiting for. Now if you kindly, please give us your resolution. John, for the sake of the world, a hero must make sacrifices. Then let my life as a normal man be the first. And my first act as Remnant's new king is to rid it of its greatest evil. He then walks up to her. Salem then hugs John. Salem, thank you, now I'm free. Ozpin just closed his eyes feeling his own immortality fade away. John lays her down gently to the ground. Then the doors open as teams RWBY NPR and the Aesops along with Ironwood and the rest of the Mandalorian commanders. They saw the Queen of the Grim on the floor dead as John was holding the dark saber in his hand. Ozpin turns and announces that the war is finally over. The kids all cheer and a Mandalorian was ordered to relay the message. A few weeks later. Vale. Garin. RWBY declare that all kingdoms have made a unanimous vote to join as one kingdom. The people in the town square cheers. As well as people over the world watches the public broadcast. Announcing that Remnant will be renamed Mandalore. Garin then moves the procession to the coronation. He then took the crown from the armorer. He lifts it to the people's view then places it on top of John's head. Garin. And now comes the days of the king, may they be blessed. John raises and turns to the people. John, this victory doesn't belong to one man but to all of us. May we finally be at peace. The crowds of Faunus and humans cheers as equality was now made reality. He turns to see his daughter and her two mother by her side all clapping. Blake and Velvet looked at him lovingly. Then he looks to all his classmates all cheering for him. RWBY just yelling alongside Young and their parents Ty and Summer along with Kiro whose miraculously not drinking Raven was there under their custody on house arrest. Weiss was politely clapping with her family behind her also clapping. He also looked at his future in-laws the Belladonna's Callie clapping while Giro was clapping with a hint of frustration. He looked to more of the students his son was with Gwen and Neptune with Nebula along with Octavia and Du all cheering. Funny enough Cardin and his team were also there and actually cheering looks like they finally grew up. CFY was also there Coco whistling and Yatsuhashi with Fox clapping. Glinda and Ozpin is there who finally retired and passed his title to his assistant as new head mistress while he took on a more teaching job. The Mandalorians were also there Paz clapping finally redeemed himself through war, Bo-Katan and Jango with their hands intertwined. Boba with Fennec also cheering funny enough Ben Kenobi was there alongside Satine Kenobi both cheering. Han and Chewie sitting on a crate filled with gold and other valuables also cheering. And that ends the tale of Mandalore the Redeemer. As a book closes. Final chapter. Readers who figure out the reference in the last chapter. War Adventure 73. After 3 years. Neo and Roman joined the Falcon crew as they make their lives through a mercenary team. Ironwood became a combat instructor. Winter became a general for the Mandalorian guardsmen. Glinda is the new head mistress for Beacon. Ozpin is a teacher of culture. Kiro married Robin after a drunken night at Mantle. Amber was now a student in Beacon alongside Penny and Seal in an exchange student program. Maria was adventuring and occasionally comes for booty calls. John still took his lessons from Beacon online. He was so busy managing the entire world but finds time for his daughter Lilith, who is being raised to be the new Mandalore. Loud clanging can be heard in the throne room. Solus, Tad, N, Solus, Tad, N, Solus, Tad, N, queer. John smacks a Beskar rod into the dark saber now in the hands of Lilith. Lilith, it's getting heavy, father. John, remember not to fight against the blade. Clear your mind of distracting thoughts and empty heart of unwanted emotions. For your thought and feelings become energy and becomes part of the blade, that's why it becoming heavy. Lilith, okay thanks father. John, remember, you won that when you kicked my butt during the annual tournament of warriors. Lilith, I know, but is this really okay? You're the king. John, who do you think will be the next ruler? Lilith, you. John, no use running from it, I did it, but I know you can do better. Lilith pouts as she disengages the dark saber. Lilith, am I going to Beacon? John, of course, just don't give Lady Goodwitch a headache. Lilith, I'll be good. Then the doors open, a much more mature team RWBY, PNR and CFVY. With NDGO and SSSN. RWBY, hey John, what you two doing? John, training Lilith to wield the dark saber. Young, whoa John, do you think it's too early for her to learn it? John, you do remember she gave me my butt on a silver platter in the finals. Weiss, understandable, she has a talent for fighting, so much more than you did when we first met. John held his hand on his chest in mock hurt. John, oh you wound me so. Weiss giggles, it's nice to see you John. John, you too Weiss, how's the SDC coming along? Weiss, smoothly, I gave all the Faunus fair pay and increased their safety using the AKs as support for mining. John, how's the family? Weiss, Whitley volunteered to be my assistant so we can spend more time together. He's changed after the whole incident with my sperm donor. Young, ouch. Weiss, mom is doing better, she's been in rehab and improving her health. Weiss then got a mischievous look. Weiss, she's been asking for you though, Mr. MILF Magnet. John, oorg, I get enough of that from Maria, Summer and Callie teasing me, please enough. Weiss just laughs. RWBY, what's MILF? Young, when you're older RWBY. RWBY, hey I'm 18 now. John, how is Raven? Young, still under house arrest, she's still having a tough time adjusting to be a housewife along with mom. Coco, how are you and your in-laws doing? John, Callie keeps teasing me and Gira seems like he wants to shove my head through a wall. Blake, well if he even dares I'll use him as a scratching post. John, isn't that racist? Blake, haha John, very funny. Don't tempt me too. John covers her mouth. Velvet just skips and hugs Lilith. Velvet, nice armor there my little kit. Lilith, not in front if you're friends. Pyrrha, that's so cute. Nora came in and gave her a big hug. Ren tried to pry Nora off her. Ren, sorry about that. Lilith, no problem. John, so RWBY, I heard you're joining the Mandalorian smithy. RWBY, yeah I can make weapons but Beskar is strictly for armor, which bummed me out. But still I'm so happy to be a part of the Royal Armory. John, just don't go nuts. RWBY, no promises. John, how you guys are such problem children. Son, so what like to be king? John, hard, nuff said. Neptune, sheesh. The group laugh and reminisce. They held a reunion party. And Remnant finally enjoyed a perpetual time of peace and the brothers never came back. Now a new Mandalore will make a new adventure. Mandalore the Beloved. And this at the end of this what if. Hope you guys like it. Do not forget to leave a comment down below and subscribe to the channel.